Hi, I'm your host, Chris Sands. Today, we're having another one of our virtual episodes. We're recording with Mark Osbourne, the founder of Adroit Theory, located down in Purcellville, Virginia, in Loudoun County. Um, just a short little jaunt across the river from Maryland. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Thanks for giving us some of your time. Um,
Yeah, appreciate it.
from watching social media, it seems like Adroit's actually close to being just as busy as ever.
We've been very fortunate, given the alternative of being able to, um, keep all of our people busy, um, albeit sometimes in a different capacity or in, slightly different structure. But yeah, sales have been very, very strong. I guess that old adage of people drink when the good times and they especially drink in the bad times is definitely a true statement.
And as we were saying right before starting to record, Adroit Theory beer, at least most of it, is very effective at in improving moods.
I think it's a good bang for your buck on your calorie to ABV.
Have you ever tried to calculate what like the average ABV of all your beers are?
Well, I mean, I kind of divide our history into 2014 through the end of 2016, and that's pretty easy. I mean, the average was 10, because there was really nothing below 7% and a ton of stuff in that 10 to 12 range. But then from 2017 on is when we really started kind of having a more diverse and balanced portfolio, and we introduced 3 and 4 and 5% beers, and that kind of brought the average down. But on the flip side, we also started making even bigger beers. So now our stouts kind of fall into three categories. We have like the 10% stouts, and then we have like the 14% stouts, and then of course, the 18% stouts. And my guess is it probably still averages out to 10.
And somehow you drink them and they do not taste at all like they are that strong.
Until you stand up. Until you
Yeah.
stand up, for sure. Yeah. Now we're very good at hiding alcohol, I suppose, or something that's balanced. That has enough sweetness and enough oomph with the body to not just be this boozy thing, which, in all frankness, some of our earlier releases, and again, in that 2014, 2016 range, I mean, we made some boozy things, which people love, but, it was a little bit more evident, I think, than it is today. Today, it's scary. We have a triple IPA out right now. It's 10% that I swear to God, it drinks almost like a session, like it is down the hatch type of drink. But at 10%, it creeps up on you pretty quick.
Is that the from the GI Joe series?
Cobra, yes, Cobra, and a little bit of GI Joe for sure. It's
Okay.
called Revolt. It's the most current release in that series.
So that's what I had one of those on Wednesday, and I was shocked at how little it seemed like the alcohol content was. And like as you said, then I went to stand up and realized how much there was in it.
Yep.
So how did that was something I definitely wanted to talk to you about because I love there's been three of them at this point, right?
Yes, we started with. It was going to be just a three-part series, and it's been very successful. So we're going to continue with that series. But it was going to be resist, rise up, revolt, which is like a common saying in the you know anarchist, revolutionary, type of people. But using, three of the main Cobra uh, leadership. Started with Cobra Commander, that was Resist, and then we did Destro um, for Rise Up, and now the Baroness is on the label for Revolt.
Yeah, I love that series because as a kid, GI Joes were my favorite toys. I had like that was anytime I got a present, that is what I wanted. I loved GI Joe. So I would urge you to just continue those.
Well, then we're very similar in that regards. I mean, obviously I'm at that age where I'm becoming more nostalgic about, the good old 80s. And I collected all that G.I. Joe, figurines. I collected the comic books. I was definitely into it. And I thought it was just a very fun way to kind of relive my youth, but we did it in a much more modern way. We patterned it off of the Obama Hope poster, and
Which
did
kind
it.
of fits in perfectly though with the red and blue.
Oh yeah, no, I mean the whole thing. I mean, I know you're not supposed to pat yourself on the back, but I thought it was very clever. I mean, the colors, pay homage to the original series. It has political, relevance if you choose to read it that way, or maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't. You know, it's something that's multi-layered for sure, and you can enjoy it at face value. You could read into it, but I'm very, very pleased with how it turned out. We have all these, hardcore GI Joe fans that are, buying it strictly to put on the shelf. Like they could care less about the beer; they just want to have it next to their, Destro figurine. Um, so it's gonna be cool. We're the next one we're gonna do is called Rebel, and it's featuring Storm Shadow.
Nice.
So that should be pretty cool. That's gonna come out late June, I think. And then we are doing um, another one featuring Snake Eyes.
He was my favorite.
He is the cool.
Probably a lot of people's favorites too,
He
though.
was the coolest.
And the dreadnoughts. I love the
Oh, the
dreadnoughts.
Dreadnought. Yeah, we're gonna do a Zartan one. I think. I don't know. I don't want to be
God, I
jumping.
hope the people who listen to this podcast like GI Joe.
Everyone, because people who drink Adroit Theory beer tend to be in their 40s, meaning they grew up in the 80s. So
Have you ever seen that hilarious GI Joe meme where it has a pie chart and at the top it says the battle, and then half of the pie chart is knowledge, and then there's a quarter sliced each that says red lasers and blue lasers.
no, I haven't seen that. But that sounds pretty funny because knowing is half the battle.
So was that whole series, was that just born purely from you loving GI Joe growing up?
Pretty much. I mean, we as you know, we make a lot of beers, right? Just a
Oh, it's a
never-ending.
constant onslaught.
Oh, it's overwhelming. Like they're my beers and my beer names and all that stuff, and I can barely keep track of it. So I was looking for new ideas, and at first I was just going to do just Cobra Commander, just a one-off, resist. I thought people would find it amusing, um, but the second it dropped, it was like, oh yeah, this could be a big hit for us. The beer I thought was solid, but like the whole packaging that went along with it. So then it was like, well, why don't we do a three-part? So that's when I came up with the phrase and featuring three of the major Cobra villains. But after all three, it's like, wow, I got to just keep going. So again, I don't want to just become where it's just the same idea again and again. Eventually, we'll stop and pause and then maybe revisit it in a year or two. But for now, I'm very excited about hitting some of my favorite characters. And particularly getting into even like the nerdier side of it. So like if you look at the bottom of the Revolt can, it actually says Fred VII, meaning Fred the Seventh, which is like hardcore geeky comic book GI Joe reference.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
I mean, like literally only one person picked up on it. So, yes, one
But that
person
one person must have really loved it.
loved it. Yeah, exactly, right. So yeah, so sometimes I mean some of our labels and series have been a little obtuse, right? They've been so over the top with imagery and stuff that people just look at it and like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. But then if you deconstruct it, almost all of them have had, multi meanings or references, or like a lot of times we'll put little Easter eggs in a current label that references the next label that's coming out, stuff like that.
That is really cool. Now I need to start paying closer attention to.
Yeah, we did a beer, like a Watchman beer last year called All Shall Perish. And if you look on the label, the actual bottle is in the trash can behind, like in the art in the background.
That's so cool.
And then on the wall in graffiti is written the name of the next beer that came out like 2 weeks later.
It's like the Adroit Theory cinematic universe.
We're trying to make something, that's cool, I mean, it's not just all heavy metal pentagrams and nonsense. I mean, there's a lot of that, but it's not just that. I'm trying to make something that really is multifaceted, that's not just one dimensional, that has references to basically the kind of stuff that I was into or I am into, like G.I. Joe, like we did a Dune series, we did a series based on The Crow, obviously the Watchmen series. We've done all sorts of things, and we're going to continue doing that, as well as pentagrams and upside down crosses.
Although I
way too far from it.
I can't remember if it was from the magazine interview or from the episode. You had said that you try to walk the line in between. I can't remember the exact wording, but something along the lines of like the satanic, demonic stuff, but not upsetting your mother. So,
that's already happened.
But it must really warm her heart seeing you making beers that are themed after toys.
Well, exactly. Although, throw my mother under the bus here, she got rid of all my G.I. Joe toys when I went to college.
Oh, unforgivable.
I know, right? I'm like, dude, I could have made some money. And yeah, so now I have to go out on eBay and buy all, spend $5,000 to rebuy all the stuff that I had, when I was 10 years old.
What was your favorite G.I. Joe toy? We're really going to test the limit of listeners' enjoyment of G.I. Joe talk.
Wow, gosh, that's a hard one because I had quite a bit. I mean, I had everything. I did not have the aircraft carrier because it was like 7 feet long, and my parents basically refused.
Yeah, I didn't have. I had the Terradrome though. I love the Terradrome.
Oh, absolutely. And it sounds like
I can't remember the name that they used in the show, but it was the plane that's basically modeled after the SR-71 Blackbird. And I had that one. Those are the two. Like I begged and begged and begged, and those are like my big Christmas present one year, and then I think a birthday present one year. But those are by far my two favorite G.I. Joe toys.
That's funny. I'd have to give it some thought. But I will tell you, my favorite figurine was I had the original Zartan, who was not really my favorite character per se, although I thought he was pretty cool. But he had these patches on him, like built into his armor, where if you put your hand on it and warm them up, they change.
So did his mask.
Yes. And I always thought that was like really cool. It's like, oh wow, it's so cool. He's like a chameleon.
Right. And the Dreadnought's Dune buggy was awesome also.
Yeah. All the Dreadnoughts were freaking cool. I mean, it's all cool. I mean, there's nothing uncool about it. Thoroughly enjoy all that stuff.
We're going to take a real quick break to thank our sponsors. When we get back, I may or may not keep bringing up G.I. Joe stuff.
No, that's fine, right? We talked about it the whole time if you like.
If you haven't heard about our beer dinners, well, now you have. Typically, the last Tuesday of each month, we partner with a local brewery and craft an exclusive 5-course dinner. Each course is thoughtfully paired with some of the finest craft beer available. You'll meet the brewery, enjoy memorable pairings and service, and have a damn good time. Like us on Facebook to stay in the know when tickets become available, because they will sell out quick.
Idiom Brewing Company proudly offers a delicious variety of beers to satisfy the most discerning tastes, best known for their wide array of India Pale Ales, delicious fruited sours, robust porters and stouts, and crispy pilsners and lagers. Idiom Brewing Company prides themselves on continuing to innovate, utilizing new and or experimental hops, local ingredients, and unique flavor profiles. Unfortunately, you can't enjoy their tap room, which is located along beautiful Carroll Creek in downtown Frederick. Thankfully, you can enjoy their delicious beer to go and even have it delivered throughout the Frederick area. You can check out their menu options and place your order at idiombrewing.com. Make sure to follow them on social media for up-to-date options and hours during these ever-changing times. So actually, we'll switch gears a little bit to one of your quotes was led to by far our most popular magazine cover.
You didn't have to have hot dogs in a glass, did it?
It did have hot dogs in a glass. And it is way more difficult to photograph a hot dog in a glass of beer than you could ever imagine it is.
And I can imagine it would be very, very tough because I've done photography, and yeah, I don't envy that, and it might not have smelled very good either.
I don't remember the smell being any, because we didn't cook it, did we, Graham? No, we did. I did, because there are grill marks on it. I wanted there to be grill marks, so yeah, I did cook.
Otherwise, it has that really pinkish color, and you're like, oof,
yeah,
very appetizing.
But
there you go. You are welcome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we dedicated at least an hour to that damn photo. But I think it was well worth it.
Yeah, well, we still haven't put hot dogs in beer, and I don't think that's going to happen. But never say never.
Well, if you ever do, I give you permission to you can contact me. You can use that photo for promotion.
There you go. It'd probably sound like hockey.
Save you the trouble.
That's so sad. People like the craziest things.
Yeah, sadly, it probably would sell well.
Mm-hmm. No, it would. I know it would. People like sweet. That's the one thing that I go back in time and tell myself in 2014 is to focus more on sweet, and obviously not just sweet, like just literally drinking sugar, but, balanced sweet. But like people love sweet. It's just unbelievable how much they love sweet.
I've seen online a lot of people lately saying that asking for recommendations for sour beer because they've tried a couple of the popular ones lately that are just lactose and fruit in basically a Berliner Weiss. And thankfully, they're almost always told, like, look, if you just like those two beers, you're probably not a fan of sour beers. Yeah, exactly. You like fruit juice.
Yeah. So it is funny because, like,
there's nothing wrong with that, but
they're like, I guess, technically sour, but I never refer to. I'm like, it's tart. It's got just this little tart pucker. But mostly it's sweet. Fruit juice and a clever package. Just a little bit of tartness. And that's mostly what people like. Most people don't like, lip puckering sourness. I'm not talking about the fan. People that are into sours, obviously they love that stuff, but like the general public, they do not want that. They just want a little kiss of tartness.
So, real quick, talking about G.I. Joe again, though. Are you worried? Are you worried about Hasbro getting pissed off?
No.
Or you just figure if they do that you'll stop?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and they're all one-off beers. It's not like this is my flagship, and I've called myself, Cobra Commander by G.I. Joe. I mean, like, it's an artist rendition of the character. It's all original artwork. I mean, it's I designed it, worked with my artists, and it's a custom piece of artwork. And yet, could it infringe? I suppose maybe, but it's also one of those brands that's out in the public. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not too terribly worried about it. And if it is, if they say, "Hey, put the kibosh on this," I'll say, "Hey, okay." and we only made one batch of it, and we're never making it again. So I'm not too terribly worried about it. I'll just dream up something else.
Another beer I really enjoyed the name of, and I'm gonna let you say it because I know I'll butcher the exact wording.
That's
But it was
I remember what it is.
well, it was the collaboration that you did with Kushwa.
Oh yes.
It was Future You Hates You.
The most recent one was
Yes, yeah.
Future You Hates You.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like I just loved that the sentiment behind that name and just the name in general.
They very foolishly, I love those guys. Very foolishly let me, be the driver on the art and the name. It's like Adroit Theory and Kushwa, it was just this clearly, we were the drivers on that one, but it's a bad beer.
It's very on brand for Adroit Theory, not quite on brand for Kushwa.
Yeah. So, but it was badass. It was bad. The beer was badass. I don't know if you got the green. We did a green can, and it was ridiculous. Just absolutely out of control, ridiculous.
How did that collaboration come about?
We've been friends with all the guys there basically since day one, and I don't know if they were just telling me this to make me feel better, but they told me that they dreamed up the idea of opening Kushwa while sitting at Adroit Theory drinking beer. Which they can't creep up on you, but yeah, we've done, and we're not the cool kids jet setting around brewing all these collaborations with everybody else. We do collaborations, but it's pretty sporadic. So, but we've done I think like 5 or 6 with them.
I don't know how I missed so many of them.
Most of them were just draft only releases.
Oh, okay, that's probably why.
This is definitely the first can. We never canned anything. So,
okay.
But yeah, no, we always do IPAs at their place and then stouts at our place. So
makes sense. And it's where kind of each of you live in your realms.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love their IPAs.
I bet there's been a lot of really good and really bad ideas dreamt up inside of the Adroit Theory tap room.
Only all good ideas. Matter of fact, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, sometimes after I've had a few drinks, I usually come up with a lot of my ideas, because creative juices start flowing, and I think most of them have been pretty good. There've been probably have been some terrible ones, but
I bet 100% of them are definitely thought to be great at the time.
At the time, exactly. Thank God you can't do things instantaneously, right? There's for everything because. And I've definitely had, some ideas definitely better than others, but I'm pleased. I'm pleased with, the ideas that are coming out currently. Beers that are in those packages, I'm very pleased with as well.
So you, during our first failed attempt to record this because I neglected to hit record, I brought up your, expansion in your tap room that you did actually a while ago at this point. So I'll let you tell that story a little bit more, and then I have a couple other questions after that.
Okay, so basically a year ago now we opened up what we call our front tasting rooms on the front side of the building. So it's funny, people haven't, always tell who hasn't been there in at least a year because they always go around to the back and then they open the door and they're like, "What? Where's the bar? Where?" But the front tasting room is nice. It's not as rugged, industrial chic. It's nice, but we have air conditioning, which was a big deal.
That's a big plus.
We had heat, which again the other place did not. There's more seating. We have TVs. We actually have a nice sound system. So I mean, I like it. I think it's fantastic. But the old school people are like, oh, I want it to be 100 degrees in here while I sweat my ass off drinking 12% beer. I'm like, okay, well, good luck with that.
Yeah, I think you may have made the right decision for mass appeal.
Well, exactly. That and people stay longer. You know what I mean? That was one thing we used to have a problem with is that they would come and it was so, particularly in the summer, I mean, it was brutal. And, you know, they'd want to stay for 3 hours and they'd be there for like 20 minutes and like, oof. And you know, we got to go. So now people come and hang out. So it's a little bit nicer in that regard. Plus, it gave us more room in the back. We still have like no room, but if you went there, like the bar is gone, like the walls that controlled were around the brewing area, they're all gone. We're actually getting ready, hopefully this month, putting in new floor drains. I have new tanks on order. We hit the pause button 2 months ago when things looked like they were about to go down the toilet. But I think at this point we'll just proceed, and hopefully here in by the summer we'll have a bunch of new tanks, basically where the bar used to be. Like I think most people wouldn't even recognize it at this stage, based on how it's been reconfigured. But it's been nice because now we actually have some room. Once these new tanks go online, we will more than double our capacity of brewing in-house. So we'll still continue to contract brew, which we've always done from day one, but we'll be able to do even bigger batches in-house, which is always nice.
So if I remember correctly, is it all of your packaged product that's contract brewed and packaged off premise? And
Not all. Not all.
Okay.
We for I forget exactly when, but we both can and bottle beer in house. Really, the only way you would know is if you look at the label. It'll say if it was made in Purcellville or if it was made somewhere else.
Okay.
We did, at our own facility. We don't have our own canning line, so we have to bring somebody in. But we do have like a small bottling line. So a lot of times if we're only going to do, 20, 30 cases of something, we'll do that in house and then we'll bring in. So like, I think in like 2 weeks, we're going to be canning 500-600 cases in house.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's not an insignificant amount. I think people kind of sometimes assume that we're still just making one keg at a time, which we used to, but it's a little bit more production at this point.
So then you've added some tanks since the last time I was there. Because
probably. Yeah, it's still a rudimentary setup, I think, in the grand scheme of things, but I think we can do 48 barrels, per turn.
Okay.
In-house. And then of course we brew, right now we're brewing at 2 places, and I think we're about to add a 3rd place that we'll start brewing at as well. But those are anywhere from 30 to 120 barrel batches each time we brew, and we're brewing 2 or 3 times per month. So we're making some beer. We're definitely cranking out some beer. Still hard to get, but we're cranking it out.
We're gonna take a real quick second break,
Okay.
and then when we come back, I want to talk about the different ways that people can get your beer now. So we will be right back. The Uncapped Podcast is brought to you by District East. A lot of Friday and Saturday afternoons, you'll find me at District East for their weekly beer tastings. District East is part of the local beer community, and they get limited releases and exclusive beers that are hard to find anyplace else. This is why I chose District East for the release of my collaboration beers. One of my favorite things to do at District East is building a custom 6-pack. With over 900 beers on their shelves and new beers every week, District East is a great place to find beers I love and to discover new and hard-to-find ones. They also have 8 beers on tap for Crowler and Growler fills, and they have kegs to go. District East is located on North East Street in Frederick, in the same shopping center as Family Mill and Rockwell Brewery. You can find today's beer lists on the District East Facebook page or at www.districteast.beer. I'm excited to announce our newest sponsor, Vanish Farmwoods Brewery. Vanish is a brewery and entertainment complex located on a 62-acre hops and apple farm in Luckett's, Virginia, just 20 minutes from Frederick, Maryland and Leesburg, Virginia. With over 20 beers on tap, a selection of wines and ciders, along with multiple food options, there is something for everyone. Vanish has live music on Saturdays and Sundays and a wide variety of special events. Go to vanishbeer.com for information on everything they have to offer. All right, so how how can people get your beer now? And I've seen one way that seems to be exploding is mail order. So how does that work?
Yeah, that's been very fortuitous for us because obviously our tasting room is not closed, but it's closed for on-site consumption. And obviously, we're very eagerly anticipating being able to reopen, but that that might be in 3 or 4 weeks. It might be in 3 or 4 months. We're not sure. But the tasting room is open for to go business, and so that business is still, it's definitely down, but it's still a sizable number. So that's been nice. But being able to ship to various places has been really nice for us. Very convenient, obviously, for the customers. It's a little bit more expensive, obviously, once you factor shipping in, but it's not outrageous. And I've learned a lot about shipping, which I had a lot of intention of learning, but you'd be surprised how many people have no idea where they live.
Like can't give you their address?
They give you the wrong address, or just some crazy error, like the wrong city or the wrong zip code. And you're just like, dude, don't you order stuff online on a regular basis? I'm sure.
Like
So
I want to be surprised, but people do routinely remind me how dumb a lot of people are.
you'd be surprised. The other big one that blows my mind is we started doing pre-orders for stuff because we had stuff coming in the pipeline. We knew it was going to be hot. We wanted to give people the opportunity to pre-order it. So they would pre-order something that's coming out in a month, as well as something we have available like today. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, why would you place two orders, or don't get the stuff that's now? I mean, you're going to come in 6 weeks from now, and the beer's probably not going to be there because we accidentally sold it. Sorry, or it's going to be old. Like, I don't understand. People are crazy. Anyway, it's been good for our business. The other place you can get our stuff obviously is through Distro, which obviously the restaurant and bar business went to zero, but the Costco's and the Total Wines, I mean, they more than made up the difference. So it's been good.
District East.
District East, yeah, in Maryland, yeah. I mean, obviously District East, Orion, Wine
Definitely
District,
District East.
yeah, a bunch of places.
Graham's District East sponsors the podcast. So Graham's over there shaking his head, and I don't know if the mic picked it up. He also yelled that I'm shameless, which I am 100%.
They're good guys. They order all of our stuff for the most part. The other way you can get our beer is you can get on an airplane and fly to Japan, Korea, China, Australia.
How the heck did you pull that off?
Europe, UK. Yeah, we're shipping some beer internationally. You can get that Kushwa beer in Japan, like in Tokyo, like right this second.
That's crazy. Is it? Do you think it's a function of like your aesthetic? Is that what's helping drive people buying it all over the place?
Yeah, we're not. I mean, we're like, I think more famous than a lot of people, but we're not like these other hyped breweries that have name brand recognition all around the world, right? We're not Omnipolo or Other Half, or you know what I mean? Like, we're not them. But the aesthetic is cool, and people are definitely into it. And we make, what I think most people classify as extreme beers, which again, obviously sell well if you're going to be paying import prices for something. They're not going to bat an eye at spending $20 for a can if it's crazy and it looks awesome. But we started international.
How much a can of your beer costs overseas?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, because
you figure with the cost of shipping heavy liquid and
and then the currency exchange, so I wouldn't be surprised one bit if it's that much. But we did a couple over the years, but not really. But last year we decided we really wanted to do it, so we send one pallet. Wow, that sold really fast. Let's order 2 pallets. Okay, great. So then a month goes by, they order 2 pallets, and then wow, that really went great. Let's order 4 pallets. Holy shit. We need more beer. Let's order 8 pallets. And so now all of a sudden it's become a big part of our business. which, it's been very, again, good for us in terms of name brand recognition and exposure, as well as, obviously cash flow. But on the flip side, it also makes it challenging because the people locally are also competing with people in France and, Japan and Sweden, who also want the same beer that we release. So the amount of time we have a product available used to be like 6 weeks. Like, we drop a beer and we're going to have it at the tasting room for like 6 weeks. And now it's like 6 minutes. You know what I mean? Like the stuff is, well, there you go. It's gone, So it's been, a little challenging trying to keep up with all of that. But it's nice because I have much less inventory I need to manage. So, there's the upside.
Have you received complaints from local people about that? Or is it just that something that's in your own mind?
Not yet. I mean, a little bit of like, oh my God, this is sold out. Why is this sold out? Like, how's this is sold out? I'm like, it's sold out.
Some worldwide. That's why.
Yeah. So, not like, oh my God, I'm never gonna buy your beer again because I can't buy it. And I'm like, okay, but not really. I mean, it's been good. Most people have been supportive. It's just, we have a lot of channels that we're now selling in that we weren't previously.
Well, now people can be like, yeah, I enjoyed Adroit Theory before they got big.
Yeah, the good old days. But,
back when you were making ramen noodle IPAs.
Exactly.
Is that something that's been made anytime recently, or was that when you were fresh and new that was made?
Fresh and new. I mean, honestly, we've made things similar to that have the same similar ingredients to them. It's just we're more clever. We don't call it ramen noodle IPA. You know what I mean? Stout with Szechuan pepper and seaweed, and, a bunch of ingredients. But I will tell you, we did make. I don't know if you saw this over in December. We released. We did a 3-part can series that had black squid ink in the stout.
I did see that, yeah.
And a bunch of other weird stuff, like black currants and black sugar, black limes, a bunch of stuff in it. But that was definitely a very cool beer, but definitely a little polarizing, as you can imagine.
Do you have any projects on the horizon to tell us all about?
Not so much weird, because to be honest with you, given the the situation, we're not focusing on beers that take a long time to make. You know what I mean? Like a big 18% stout takes a long time to make, and it's going to be a very small yield and things like that. So we're definitely trying to make some beers we can turn a little bit quicker. To kind of keep up with the demand. We will get back to those hopefully once things get back to normal and start, making even more stouts than we are. But, lots of IPAs, lots and lots of goes. I think the biggest thing is we haven't switched 100% to cans. We're still doing some bottles, but, more and more is going into cans. So like next week, we're delivering a barley wine in cans, which, would be unheard of even just a year ago. We're doing our gozas, the fruited.
Are you going to wax tip the can?
I know, right?
No, that would be such a mess to deal with trying to open.
Nightmare. I love wax dip bottles. They look so cool, but they are a nightmare to open. So, yeah, unfortunately, not as many cool projects. I'm hoping, like I said, things get back to normal. We can, do something really weird, or like where we spend a lot of money on packaging to make it look really cool. We still want to do a label that's on my to-do list.
What are those beers that you make the real elaborate packaging for? The box that has like 30 folds to it.
Oh yeah, well we did a Death of Cthulhu Russian Imperial Stout a couple of times, and it came in a custom box that was.
I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
Killer, but the rub is though that box costs $7 to make the box. You know what I mean?
Jeez.
It's
for
like,
some cardboard.
how are you going to sell that? How are you going to possibly sell that? I mean, we do want to do some stuff with like the bigger, like Jerboam size glasses, or I mean bottles, like a 3 liter size, and have them etched, and only make 100 of them. Like we do want to do some of those type of fun things. I have lots of ideas and things I want to do, but I also have to balance, cost versus availability versus time.
I once bought a 3 liter bottle of Stone Double Arrogant Bastard,
Nice.
and there was only like 3, maybe 4 of us that drank it one evening.
Yikes!
That was a rough evening.
I bet.
Well, it was more. It was the next day that was rough. That evening was really good.
You had a great time. That's right. So, yeah, I like to do some of those type of fun things. And to be honest with you, I like to get back into draft because there are some beers that we make that just we couldn't bottle or can them if we wanted to. They'd be so unstable. Like we do a beer with like Thai coffee and cream, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's literally just ridiculous. But there's no scenario where we can put that in a can. You know what I mean? And have it be
at
least
be exploding.
Didn't even make it out of the tasting room, I don't think. But,
all right, Mark. Well, if you ever want to make a hot dog beer, let me know. I'll come down and brew it with you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel like
while we're brewing something else.
Yeah.
That would be a challenging one, I think. That'd be a challenging flavor to put in beer.
To hide.
Ketchup, mustard, sauerkraut, whatever.
So the whole picnic in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe we'll release it on the 4th of July. We'll just call it like a 4th of July picnic.
Yeah.
Get some egg salad in there, some coleslaw.
All right. Well, thank you for your time today. Stay safe, and I look forward to coming down and checking out what is not new really anymore, but would be new to me, tap room, and checking out everything you have going on down there.
Cool. Yeah, you're definitely welcome anytime you want to come, and really appreciate your time, and look forward to seeing the episode when it gets posted.
And I look forward to more G.I. Joe beers because
more G.I. Joe. The Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes are actually the artworks being worked on literally right now, and since you're a fan, you're going to love it.
I'm just gonna please send those to District East, and I'm just gonna go put my order in for them right now.
Just order the case. Just order by the case. Like, don't even mess around with a full pack. I'll take a case. Now it's gonna look really cool. The liquid's gonna be solid, but those two in particular, I spent a little bit extra time finding some stuff that will bury in the artwork, for the fans.
Awesome. All right. Once again, thank you for your time, and thank you everyone for watching and listening. Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Take it easy.
Uncapped is brought to you with support from McClintock Distilling, Maryland's first and only organic certified distillery. They are well known for their award-winning gin and are rapidly growing a name for themselves for their Matchstick Bourbon and Bootjack Rye Whiskey that have both won double gold at international spirits competitions. You can visit them in historic downtown Frederick along Carroll Creek for tours and tastings. Go to McClintockdistilling.com for more information.